All right, everyone. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Jason Levine. Great to see you today on the live stream for day 5. Hard to believe it's nearly the end now. Day 5 of the Daily Creative Challenge for Premiere Pro. And today we're going to focus on stylizing your video using overlays, which were provided as some of the assets that you could download for today's challenge, as well as kind of reintroducing some of the things you can do in the Lumetri color panel with Luts and some of the effects that we have in there to stylize and even sort of simulate the look of film on your video. And largely this is going to be based around just leveraging blend modes in Premiere Pro. So this is something that we hadn't covered in the previous DCC. Certainly for any designer out there or anyone who's ever used Photoshop or many other Adobe apps, you're very familiar, intimately aware of blend modes. Well, of course, those same blend modes, all of the same ones that you have in Photoshop are actually in Premiere Pro. You apply them the same way, and you can use them really easily with some of the included overlays just to give an additional kind of look and style and feel and aesthetic to the videos that you're cutting together. And of course, you can base this around the content that we provided, but in the future, you can start leveraging this concept with any kinds of footage that you're editing with. So as always, lovely to chat and have all of you here on Behance, YouTube, and Twitter Periscope. The conversation is happening over at behance.net/Adobe Live. I want to remind you that for your challenges every day, you want to submit those to our Premiere Discord. So this is a community that we started right when we started the first DCC way back. And now, of course, we've got them for Photoshop and XD and Illustrator and Premiere. bit.ly/PR Discord. Fantastic community. There have been so many amazing submissions. I want to remind everybody, too, of course, unlike doing a daily creative challenge for like an image where it's, okay, maybe there's some steps, but it's one frame, one image. Especially with something like multicam yesterday, this is a little bit more, there's just more time involved in doing these challenges. So if you didn't get them submitted yesterday, today, we're going to be in the Discord reviewing things. And that's kind of the amazing thing about this community is please keep submitting. I'm in there, my other Adobe colleagues are in there. We've got tons of mods and friends from around the world who are in there to help and provide guidance and inspiration. And really, it's a fantastic community. So just want to remind everyone that if you didn't get to all the challenges or couldn't complete all of them because some are longer than others, particularly multicam, please submit. Please keep talking and chatting in the Discord. Let's keep this conversation going. And the more chat and conversation we have in there, the more of these video DCCs we'll hopefully see in the future. All right. So a couple of shout outs here before we get started. What's up, F. Smitic, Benjamin Civic, Hey Alex, David Gleason, Doombaland, RGY31, great to see you. Emmer Carr, okay, sounds great. Valder, nice to see you. Andreas, all right. Reverb Mike, all right. Aria Wagner, great to see you. Oh, I'm so glad you've been loving them. And please post something in Discord. I'll be on the lookout for it. Tim, as always, great to see you. Jan Eric, Cornell, Cindy, JD, good morning. Saw your submission. In fact, I think we're going to play that one in a little while. All right. Ken Cawley. Awesome. Great to see you too. All right. Also submitted some things too. Yes. Oh, I see people are talking about different types of effects and everything. Oh, yeah. Very cool. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Ronald, what's up? Oh yeah, so Jason, even though it's over, it's not over. That's awesome. Yes, yes. Love that. Love that spirit, Arya. So we're definitely we're gonna go with that. And on that wonderful note, let's segue over to Premiere. Oh, actually, you know what? Before we do that, just one more thing. So again, for those of you just joining us today for the first time, if you, in fact, want to start the challenge or download the assets for the challenge because you're a little bit late to the party, that's absolutely fine. It's fine to be fashionably late for this party. Behance.net/challenge/premiere. That's where you can get all the materials and the assets. And a couple people I saw on the Discord this morning were saying that their files, the multicam files, didn't have the markers in them already. And I had said yesterday, oh, I put these in there to make it easier. I'm not sure why they didn't translate over. No matter, because if you go to my YouTube channel, which I'm going to ask my fine mods, Tim and or Jan Eric, to put it in the chat here, I created a playlist for you called Toots in Under 5, which makes me laugh because tooths have other meanings, but spelled with O's. So these are 5 specific to these DCC tutorials that I made. And in fact, the multicam one is 505. So technically it's still under 5. I didn't say 5 flat. It's 5 and 5, right? And it would be under 5. So anyway, 5 minutes long. All the rest of them, you can see they're under like 2-3 minutes. This will remind you and tell you how to put those markers in there and then how to very quickly sync everything together. I went the long way yesterday. First, I don't know. I was trying to really showcase like old school and yeah, get your hands dirty. And this is all manual, but it's if you can do, and it's true. If you can do it that way, then you could do it with markers and everything else. It's easier. So thank you for enduring and allowing me to go through that process with you. Because again, it's one of those things like if you've never done it manually and then something happens and you don't have markers or audio sync isn't working, and you're not used to looking at audio waveforms, which as you can see after a while, it really becomes very easy to see and identify what's in there. If you can do it manually, you can do it with anything. All right. So just want to remind everyone we've got the playlist there. Okay. So we're going to start with 3 of the files that were included in the download for you. So we've got a film grain overlay, which again, this will probably be hard to see what this looks like. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see a little bit better. All right, so as I hover, scrub over this, got that nice film style look. Then we've got another film blotchy, scratchy effects overlay. And I love these. And these can really transform footage. You know, even some people are like, so cheesy, stylized scratches and blotches. It can be cheesy. It can also be cool, you know. Yes, I imagine if you use it for every video and it's the same looking scratches and everything, you don't modify them, that could get boring. But look, if you like the stylized look, it's awesome. And then the last one that I included here, this is another one with some like scratches, blotches, dirt, a little bit of weave in there. This one actually came from, this was one of the royalty-free assets that we distributed along with the recent Marshmallow contest from Fotolia. So threw that one in there. And this one looks great. And again, kind of gives a slightly different hue when it's overlaid and when you leverage it with blend modes. All right, so I'm going to actually start with this on the multicam footage here. So from the project panel here, I'm simply going to take this scratches and blotches. Oh, and by the way, again, talking about some of the things we talked about the other day. So this is a perfect opportunity to overlay this onto another track. I actually want to move it a little bit further back. But when I do that, you can see that it automatically, intelligently places it on the track above, because that's exactly what we're doing. We're going to overlay this. All right. Now, obviously, if I don't do anything, we're just seeing the overlay. So this is where using blend modes, as you know and love them, becomes awesome and essential and super cool and easy. All right. So with the scratches and blotches clip selected, go into your effects controls panel, which again, you can always access from the window menu. And then again, motion is already twirled down. So you can twirl up motion just to clean things up here. Under opacity, you will see blend modes. And if you click on blend modes, now here are, for those designers out there and Photoshop users, familiar friends. All right. Familiar friends, all those lovely blend modes that you know and love from After Effects and Photoshop and everywhere else. So makes it really nice and easy. So for something like this, because a lot of this is shot on white, let's start with something like darken. All right. And right away, here we are on chip, again, with like the dirt and the splotches, it just gives this really neat kind of look to it just right away without doing very much. So let's just take a quick look here. I've got the volume down pretty low. All right, and now we're out of blend mode there. Okay, so, ooh, look at that. Always with the stop frame. So again, right away, it just looks cool, right? It's got some stylized flavor to it. Now, of course, you can change the different blend modes to see how they affect the frame. So by going to multiply, you can see that first of all, it like really significantly darkens, and the hue of the splotches in the dirt, obviously because they're multiplied, change. So it kind of overall changes the aesthetic a little bit more intense there. Okay, and again, you can go through all of these. Color burn obviously is not going to do very much. Overlay is really going to blow things out on this particular one because it's so white. Similarly, if we were to go to something like screen, yeah, I mean, it's almost in total whiteness. Now, of course, you have opacity control here too, but this isn't going to help you with this blend mode. So again, for this particular one, for this footage, because it's largely shot on white and very bright underneath, we're using sort of the darken, multiply. This section here is kind of where I'm focusing, where I'm going to get the best results for this one. All right. Now, one of the things you may have noticed is that each of these overlays is about, this one's like 9 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds. Okay. So obviously you're going to want it for a longer period of time. So if you apply one and then apply the blend mode and do whatever other things you're going to do, maybe, you know, one of the ways that you can also randomize the look, right? Because after a while, you know, you may start noticing that circle every 10 seconds. I mean, you'd have to be pretty Rain Man-y to notice that, but which is that's a fine thing. But you know what I'm saying? It can seem repetitive. So one of the things you can do to kind of fool and trick your eye here is to scale things, right? So maybe, you know, for this one, we scale it up 112%. Now, here's what I want to call out to you. So if we wanted to apply this multiple times, now that I've made changes to it, inside the timeline here, if I hold down the Option or Alt key on Windows and I just drag, another instance of scratches and blotches and just snap it to itself, you'll see that on this second instance that I just added here, it already has all the same attributes applied. Now again, if I want to maybe rescale this one back down to 100% just to give it a little variation there, all right, something like that, we can do that, okay? So I really make some very bizarre faces while I'm playing the piano, okay? That's one way to do it. Now, the other thing that you can do is, let's say that I'm gonna clear all my changes here. Let's make this normal. Go back to 100%. Get rid of this. All right, so let's say that the first thing I do is I drag this in, you know, 3 times or 4 times or for whatever the duration of my video is, all right? And I'm just using, again, that Alt Option key just to quickly copy it and snap it across the timeline. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, and again, I'll do the same thing. I'll do darken. Maybe that's all we need, all right? So I did it for the one, but now all the others, they're not applied. So here's something else that you can do. You can select the one that you've modified, and maybe you're also doing some additional Lumetri color. We'll get to that in just a second. In fact, why don't we go ahead and do that? So in Lumetri color here, maybe we want to do, again, some, you know, highlight adjustments to that overlay. And you can see as I adjust those highlights, we're kind of increasing the dirt and the grit on this overlay. I kind of really like that, actually. It's pretty cool. You know, again, maybe we affect the contrast a little bit. So we're bringing in, now that's kind of bringing in some digital noise. So maybe not on that particular instance because these are MP3 files. In fact, I'm going to increase the contrast to blow a little bit of that out. Maybe, again, if we sort of adjust black level here, it's very, very subtle. Okay. Maybe we add additional faded film on this particular one. Okay. So we've made some, again, additional changes to that scratches and blotches via Lumetri. Well, now if I right click, control click, and I copy, so I'm copying all the things that I just did on there. If I now select all of the other instances of this, right click on the first one, control click on the first one, and go to paste attributes. Now what I have the ability to do here is I want to paste, first of all, my opacity adjustments, because that'll include my blend modes, and I want to include effects, which in this case is Lumetri color. So now when I click OK, as I scrub through all of these, now each one of them has stuff applied. And if I just click and select one, you can see there, again, you can see that it's got faded film on it. It's got those adjustments that we just made in Lumetri, and it has our darken blend mode that was applied as well. So you can do it to one, paste it to all the others, or do it to one and then just Alt-Option-Click and drag to extend, you know, the number of instances in the timeline, and all the effects and things that you've done will remain. All right? Pretty cool. Pretty slick. Okay. Let's check in our chats here. All right. Oh yeah, you blend. My cousin Vinny. Good one. Very good. Who won the Marshmallow Challenge? Yes, I don't know. I don't remember the name, but someone won. We've had so many challenges recently with the Gaga challenge and everything else. I apologize, I forgot. But yes, there was a winner, and you can watch actually the finished video of the compiled stuff, all of the fan submissions that Marshmallow on his own channel has since updated. Okay. Very cool. Tyler Kennedy, what's going on? All right. I've missed these chats too, Emma. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Now, again, we could do this on the same thing, or we could apply it to maybe something like this one here. So let's do the film grain one. Now this one, again, you can use this on the other footage. You can use them in combination, right? You can have multiple overlays applied simultaneously here. For this one, because this is also black and white, this is going to be, it'll be a little interesting because it's going to be a bit more subtle. But again, based on the blend mode we choose, we can probably up the subtlety or minimize the subtle, make it less subtle. You know what I'm trying to say. So once again, let's apply this. You can kind of see what that film grain looks like there. And welcome to my channel, Just Play Music. All right. Let's wind it back. Select film grain. All right. And maybe once again, start with darken here. Now, again, if I choose darken on this one, right away you can see that it does, you know, it kind of gives a very particular stylized look to my skin tone there, kind of blowing it all out, which again is a stylistic choice. I don't particularly like this. Here, if I play this back. Hi, I'm Jason, and welcome to my channel. Yeah, so that one for me, that's not doing it. So maybe this time again, we'll try something like overlay. There we go. So now overlaying this, you're really seeing, oops, wrong panel. You're really seeing some very nice kind of crunchy film grain in there. All right, it's very close up on my face there. And in particular, if you look in like the corners. Hi, I'm Jason, and welcome to... Right, it's got some really nice, it's just got a really nice feeling to it. My channel, Just Play Music. Okay. Now, again, as we change these, if we go into something like soft light, all right, no, that one's not making a significant difference. Hard light, there we go. So now hard light is giving us even more noise, a little bit more grit, and being in sort of monochrome. Hi, I'm Jason, and welcome to my channel, Just Play Music. It really kind of works. Now, one of the other things that you can do, whether you do this on the film grain itself or overall over everything, is add an adjustment layer. So for something like this, and here, I'm going to put this one back to just overlay. A little bit more subtle grain in there. Let's go up to the File menu, New. Oh, sorry. Let's do this from the project panel instead. Okay. My brain is slow. From the project panel, new item, and let's choose adjustment layer. Okay, it'll automatically take the frame size and frame rate for you. And let's go ahead and stick this into an available track and now drag it out for the duration. Okay. So now what I can do, oh, by the way, I can take this film grain if I like that. I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm just gonna Alt drag so that we've got film grain across the whole thing. Now on this adjustment layer, this is where now I can go into Lumetri once again, and maybe we start in something like creative, and I can add some of this faded film look. Now this is going to give us kind of a lower contrast, almost like dropping the black level slider in the basic controls panel. Just gonna make it a little bit more film-like, Don't want to really touch sharpen or vibrance or saturation, but you can. And then again, I can maybe mess around with some of these LUTs. Now, some of you had done this in some of the previous days' challenges. Go for a slightly sepia toned look in this case. Now, these are color LUTs here, but applying them to this monochrome footage, all of them are going to give you slightly different looks. Hi, I'm Jason, and welcome to my channel, Just Play Music. I mean, there's kind of a nice aesthetic to that. You know, we can really crush some of the black level here. Again, slightly lower contrast. It's pretty neat, the different sort of looks that you can get, particularly on monochrome footage, right? And we're going to celebrate all things music. And that one is it's almost looking so clean. Musical performance. It's funny, this particular LUT is it's almost doing a grain smooth. You're seeing grain in the lighter areas, but in the darker areas, it's just kind of creamy smoothed out. So again, you can play around with this using adjustment layers over top of the overlays. So similarly, if we were to go back to this one here, let's grab this adjustment layer. I'm going to drag this again across the duration here. Oh wait, did I put this? Okay, that's in the right place. Okay. So once again, let's drag over. Let's go to a nice frame, something like this. Frame where there's like a lot of blotchy noise. Cool. Yeah, so we could come in here, and now again, we can do some shadow adjust, perhaps. Actually, maybe we'll adjust the black level here. Maybe even saturate a bit. Kind of give it that slightly 8 mil film look. Okay, and now we can come in here, and maybe there's a LUT that's gonna, again, kind of emphasize that kind of skin tone feel of some of those 60s like LUTs. I kind of like that one. Which one is this? Fuji F125 2395. Yeah. And again, if I did a little bit of the faded film, you can kind of see what that's doing. Maybe adjust vibrance. Maybe we want to pull out a little bit of the reddish hues. So again, I can come into hue versus sat. Make a selection of the reds here. I'm going to hold down my shift key while I grab my center point, which was the selection of the color via my eyedropper. And now I can increase the red or decrease the reds a little bit. All right. Just kind of bring those down a little bit more subtle. Just kind of the before and the after. All right. And now we play this back. It's kind of giving us a nice vibe. Oh, it looks really nice on those shots. What this is also telling me is that if I were going to do this for real, I'd probably come in here and slightly recolor time chips skin tones here, specifically on just the drum clip, because you can see my tones are just a bit warmer. You know, it's funny, this looks like this was green screen, but in fact I am shot on a white screen there. It's not green. All right. So again, if we were trying to do a little bit more consistency with skin tone, we could easily achieve that. But that looks pretty cool. There's something really nice and pleasing about that. All right. Cool. I see a lot of talk about grapes and raisins. Not every shot needs to have noise. That is also true, Reverb Mike. And that's the other thing too, is remember that there's no rule in doing this, right? You can apply it to everything. It's also sometimes nice, and it's a very cool editorial decision to maybe that's a perfect example. Oh, look at that. That was a really good looking splotch right there. That's cool. But yeah, maybe just the piano and the drum shots, because they're shot on white, are gritty and dirty, and maybe we can, again, you could go into After Effects. I saw someone in Discord talking about gate weave and some other things. You know, there's other things you could do to those. You could even do sort of a simulated gate weave using some motion position keyframes, effectively creating a wiggle. You could do it in Premiere. It's easier in After Effects to simulate like camera move and handheld shakiness and stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be on every clip, on every cut of the edit. All right. And the last one here, and let's maybe, here, I'll disable these. This is the Fotolia one. So let's go back into controls. Let's see, overlay, no. Soft light. It's not quite enough. Let's see if darken. Oh yeah, this one's cool. This one works on darken too. So this one just has, it's dirtier, right? There's just a Oh, I like that a lot. So again, because I've now made those changes, Alt, Control click here. Alt or Option click. One day I'll remember all of those. All right, drag it across for the duration. Looks real good. And now, but remember, I've got those adjustment layers here, so I could say, you know what? Maybe this needs further adjustment. You know, now it's doing some weird things to the yellows. So maybe I take off that curve adjustment. Maybe I go back into basics and make some other changes here, okay? Point being is that you've got tons of flexibility with these overlays. And regardless of how many you use or in combination, it's just going to give you different looks and different ways to kind of stylize. Also, I love pointing out, don't forget that in Lumetri, you also have your vignette. So if on something like the adjustment layer, you wanted to give everything an overall vignetted look, you could do that too, right here, okay? And sometimes I like the vignette, again, if I'm going for a more stylized kind of view there. All right, so in our last couple seconds here, checking out the comments. All right. Yes. Would you really have to copy the footage effects every time? What if you had an hour-long sequence? Again, so then you could just select all the clips and it's one paste operation. So you don't have to copy individually. You can just copy from one and then paste across all of them. Right? So it's just a one-time operation. Or if you did it once, then yes, you'd have to drag it in 20 times because this clip is short. All right? Unfortunately, friends, that's all the time we have. So stick around for, we've got some master classes coming up. We'll see you again next time, and I'll be back at 10:30. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.